The Absolute has touched you, hasn't she? Priestess Gut needs to touch you too.
Do it. Make my day.
Hey, Dudes and Dudettes! It's been a while since a good Larian update, and we learned and confirmed some new stuff from the video last year, which you should definitely watch if you haven't. But we also have some room to speculate on what is coming in the future, and I'll give you some of my thoughts about it. The main general questions that I see float around the forums are: what is the release date, what is the max level, and is there console support? So let's start with those, and keep in mind that Larian doesn't reveal many key details about the game until release. Давай! The release date for Baldur's Gate 3 is August 31st, 2023. All early access buyers will get the announced digital deluxe upgrade for free, which includes access to everything in this chart. I like this inclusion of stuff from the Divinity Original Sin 2, and it will probably fit in the dark setting of the game. However, new buyers beware of the fear of missing out effect. None of these look like they will be essential to your gameplay, so if you're hesitant, give yourself 5 months to think about it so you don't fall for the FOMO after effects of, hey, maybe I should have fed my kids instead of this. The confirmation that I've been waiting for is the full console support for the split-screen couch co-op, and we will be able to sit back and enjoy playing on the big screens with friends and family. So schedule a month of work, get some friends and prepare for game nights in September, because pumpkin season starts and you will have social permission to have fun as a couch potato. Additionally, there will be cross-save progression, so you can enjoy the same story while switching between your PS5, Mac, PC and probably Steam Deck. It wasn't specified, but I believe this will require a Larian account. The max level is still a guessing game, but I believe it's narrowed down to either 12, 14 or a very super unlikely 16. Let me try to shortly pseudo-intellectualize this by putting some of the variables together and give you my thought process to put things in perspective. I don't like to voice speculations or hype things up, but I think there is a low error margin on this. So let's go, blood.
For the absolute.
In this trailer, we see a level 8 party confronting Ketheric, which is one out of the 3 antagonists that the party will need to deal with in the main quest of getting the tadpoles out or deciding that you're keeping them. I'm going to make the assumptions that Ketheric is the first out of the 3 antagonists that we will face, due to him being mentioned in the story of what we assume is the end of Act 1 so far. If we face Ketheric at level 8, then there needs to be a build-up in the story for the audience to establish some kind of connection for the other villains in the story, since we know that Acts 2 and 3 are larger than the first, which allows us to possibly get to level 8, and leveling in Dungeons and Dragons is a lot slower the higher in the levels that you go. This leaves us with the question of how many levels we could advance in the later acts. I think between 3 and 5 per act is a decent assumption for a long story development, but I don't believe we'll reach a level 9 spell slot due to the implementation of spells like Wish or Shape Change and the story implications that come with them, so the level won't be higher than 17. That leaves us with either 12, 14 or 16. I am extremely hopeful that it will be 16, because that is the cutoff point for the level 8 spells, the feat increase as the last dopamine boost and the proficiency bonus. However, I don't think a non-completionist will be able to achieve 16 just by following the story due to the increase in experience that is required. The total experience for the incomplete Act 1 of Early Access is about 10 to 20,000. We're going to face Ketheric at about level 8, so there is roughly 20,000 experience missing if he is in fact in Act 1, which gives us a total of around 35,000 experience in Act 1. If Act 2 and 3 are bigger than Act 1, then we can assume that there will be equal or slightly more experience depending on how exponentially Larian decides to reward experience on higher levels. This puts us in the range of about 120,000 experience, which is enough for level 13 and possibly 14. However, that does not mean that we'll be able to utilize all of the available experience. The same way that there should be enough experience to reach level 6 during early access, but we are limited to level 5 right now. This could mean that we might be limited to level 12. I am a skeptic by nature, and I trust the numbers, so my bet is on 14 being the max level due to level 7 spells like Finger of Death, Teleport or Reverse Gravity being easier to implement than the level 8 spells. Whatever the case may be, there will be mods like expansion that will unlock the level cap and add extra unimplemented spells into the game. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this and what you expect to come. There are data mined body types of small characters. Speculation on their implementation since 2021 and the recent changes of the PlayStation version UI of character creation gives me hope that there will be more than 2 body types, which seem to be male and female. I believe we'll be seeing strong character bodies on release, even though it has not been confirmed in the patch notes so far. It would be an odd design decision to name a customizable tab as body types and only include 2 options, unless the male and female default bodies are not numbered under the same umbrella, like a skinny male being number 2 and a skinny female being number 1 for their specific genders. If the options are a handful, I think a visualization box selection would make a clearer distinction and make it more comfortable for the user to navigate. But since there was the UI for the PS5, I want to avoid reading too much into this until we have information specifically for the PC Master Race. The system requirements for the game have increased to better reflect on what you actually need to run the game better, based on user experience during early access. So if you want to run the game better on launch, it would be a good decision to invest in a more beautiful machine. Most of the other questions from the forums and the user base are about cooming, asking the voiceover translation and technicalities of the story. So let's rapid fire through some general answers before ending the video. This is the list of languages that are supported, and the voiceover will only be in English. The game is not optimized, so whatever issues you're having while running it with or above the recommended system settings, you will probably continue to have them, even a few months after release. There are bugs, and there will be bugs and exploits on release, so be prepared to face them. Modding will be supported after release, and we don't have a time window of when that will be. There will be no GM or DM mode in early access, and we don't know if it's even coming. Sven has been avoiding this subject like the gulags.
The Dungeon Master mode, you've not really spoken about it much in the past. Is that something you can talk on now?
No, because we honestly, we don't have it in development. Everybody asks us that question, but we are so focused on making the game itself.
You will be able to change the class of your origin character once you recruit them, but we don't know if this will be available on launch or how many patches after release. And they're thinking about implementing rolling for stats, which should give you an idea that Larian knows exactly what the community wants, but they're still gonna tease you about it and wait a little bit. It's pure chaos and I love it.
I like beaches in my games, right? So,
Me too, Sven, me too. Everybody likes the beaches. That's about it, dudes. I hope you learned something today. Ask a question and I'll try to help you. Stay hydrated and have a beautiful day.